This film is a wild, underrated bomb that actually gets everything right about the 80s. Jekyll and Hyde Together Again isn't just a silly comedy, it's a metaphor for the cocaine-fueled excess of its era. Mark Blankfield brings a manic energy that mirrors the yuppie dream of the decade. The moment he snorts that white powder, pure visual shorthand, and yet no one talks about it. Why? Because it's too honest. It shows addiction as a party, not a tragedy, and that makes us uncomfortable.
You're right, Jason. But I'd argue it's more than that. The film uses the Jekyll and Hyde myth to explore the fragmentation of self in a capitalist society. Jekyll's transformation isn't just a drug trip. It's a commentary on how we compartmentalize our desires. The Hyde character represents the ID unleashed, but the film refuses to moralize. It presents the duality without judgment. That's philosophically daring for a comedy. Belson's direction lets the absurdity breathe, making us laugh while we sit with the discomfort of our own hidden selves.
Absolutely, and the visual gags like when Hyde turns into a werewolf? That's not just silly. It's a brilliant subversion of the monster archetype. In the 80s, the monster was the strung-out addict, but this film makes him a rock star. The soundtrack by The Police underscores that. Every breath you take plays during a transformation scene. That's genius. The song's creepy stalker vibe mirrors Hyde's possessive nature. Belson understood that pop music can comment on the action. It's a layered choice that rewards rewatches.
Indeed. And consider the casting. Mark Blankfield doesn't just play Jekyll and Hyde. He plays the space between them. His performance is a tightrope walk between comedy and tragedy. In one scene, he's a nerdy doctor. In the next, a suave predator. But there's a sadness in his eyes that hints at the cost. This performance prefigures later dual roles in cinema, like Nick Cage in Adaptation. Blankfield deserved more recognition. The film also features early work by Bess Armstrong, who grounds the absurdity with a real emotional arc.
Let's talk about the ending. Jekyll chooses to stay Hyde. That's a radical choice. Most adaptations moralize about the dangers of the potion, but here, the protagonist embraces his dark side. It's a nihilistic but honest take on addiction. The film says, yeah, being bad feels good and society's rules are boring. That's punk rock. It's the same energy as Sid Vicious. The final shot of Hyde dancing in the moonlight is a celebration of transgression. It's bold, and it's why the film flopped. It refused to pander.
Yet, philosophically, it raises questions about authenticity. If Jekyll finds his true self in Hyde, then, which is the mask, the film suggests that the civilized persona is the lie. But that's a dangerous idea. It implies we are our base instincts. However, the film doesn't judge. It presents both states as equally valid. This is a precursor to the dual identity themes in Fight Club and The Dark Knight. The Jekyll and Hyde myth is about the struggle, but this film resolves it by collapsing the binary. It's strangely optimistic in its darkness.
That's the emotional climax for me, the collapse of morality. This film is a time capsule of the 80s ID. It captures the moment when America decided that greed was good and self-destruction was glamorous. The film's cult status proves that audiences were hungry for that honesty. Years later we watch it and cringe because we see our own past, but we also laugh because we survived. The film's legacy is as a mirror to a decade that partied too hard. It's a cautionary tale disguised as a comedy. That's why it matters.
And that mirror is still relevant. Every era has its Jekylls and Hydes. The public persona versus private vice. This film reminds us that the line is thinner than we think. Its refusal to condemn makes it timeless. We need more art that sits in the gray area. The DVD commentary with Belson and Blankfield is a masterclass in deflecting moral gravity. They insist it's just a comedy, but their subtext reveals a deeper engagement. That tension mirrors the film itself. A work of art that pretends not to be serious often says the most.
So, here's my plea. If you haven't seen Jekyll and Hyde together again, track it down. It's streaming on Amazon Prime and Shudder, and the Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome is gorgeous. Drop a comment. Do you think Jekyll made the right choice? Do you relate to Hyde? I want to hear your take. And subscribe for more deep dives into forgotten gems. Next week, we're tackling the apple. Trust me, you'll want in on that trip. Hit like if you're ready to embrace your inner monster.
And as you embrace that monster, remember, the duality isn't a flaw, it's what makes us human. This film, for all its goofiness, invites us to accept all parts of ourselves, the shadow and the light. So when you watch it, let yourself laugh, let yourself squirm, and maybe you'll find a piece of Jekyll and Hyde in your own reflection. Thank you for joining us. As always, keep questioning the stories you love. Until next time, stay curious and stay whole.